Most engines don't wear out the way people think. They aren't dying of old age. They're slowly being destroyed by tiny mistakes drivers make every single day, often without even realizing it. The truth is, almost every blown engine, every $5,000 repair bill, every early trip to the junkyard could have been prevented with just a few simple habits. Think about that. Your engine could easily outlive the car itself if you know what to do. Each one can save you from major breakdowns, extend your car's life, and even keep money in your pocket. But here's the kicker. The last two secrets aren't optional. They're the ones you absolutely must know if you want your engine to survive the long haul. Secret number 15. The parking brake habit. Here's a habit most drivers ignore, but it's one of the easiest ways to keep your car running for years. Always use the parking brake, even when you're parked on flat ground. Why? Because when you shift into park, a small metal pin inside your transmission, called the parking pawl, is what locks your entire vehicle in place. That tiny piece of metal ends up holding thousands of pounds of pressure every time you park on a hill. Even on level ground, that strain adds up day after day, year after year. And here's the scary part. If that pawl ever snaps, your car won't just roll away. It could also wreck your transmission. A repair like that isn't cheap. You're looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 just to fix something that could have been avoided with a 2-second habit. Using your parking brake takes the weight off that tiny pin, protects your gearbox, and keeps your car reliable. It's such a small detail, but the payoff is massive. Think of it as cheap insurance for your transmission, because once that part fails, it's game over. But the parking brake is just the beginning. The next secret is something almost every driver gets wrong, and it's slowly destroying their engine from the inside out. Secret number 14. The fuel grade mistake. Most people think fuel is just fuel. You pull up, pick the cheapest option, and drive away. But that habit is quietly shaving years off your engine's life. Here's the truth. Manufacturers design engines with a specific fuel grade in mind. If your owner's manual says premium required, that isn't a suggestion. Using lower grade fuel means your engine runs hotter, struggles to burn properly, and builds up carbon deposits over time. That buildup doesn't just rob you of horsepower. It clogs valves, damages sensors, and forces your engine to work harder than it should. Even drivers with cars that don't need premium aren't off the hook. Skipping out on the occasional higher octane fill-up or using poor quality stations can leave you with dirty injectors and reduced efficiency. That extra 20 or 30 cents per gallon feels expensive, but compared to the thousands of dollars in potential repairs, it's nothing. And here's where it gets worse. Once those deposits form inside the engine, cleaning them isn't easy. You're looking at costly services just to undo years of cheap fuel choices. So, the next time you're tempted to save a few bucks, remember this. Fuel is your engine's lifeblood. Starve it of the right quality, and you'll be paying the price much sooner than you think. But fuel is just one part of the equation. The next secret exposes a simple maintenance step that almost no driver does on time, and skipping it can quietly destroy your engine from the inside out. Secret number 13. The forgotten PCV valve. There's a tiny part under your hood that most drivers have never even heard of, yet it plays one of the biggest roles in keeping your engine alive. It's called the PCV valve, the positive crankcase ventilation valve, and ignoring it is like letting your engine breathe through a clogged straw. Here's what it does. Every time your engine runs, tiny amounts of unburned fuel and exhaust gases slip past the pistons. If those gases just sat there, they'd build up pressure and sludge inside your engine. The PCV valve is designed to vent those gases out safely, keeping your oil clean and your engine breathing normally. But over time, that valve clogs up with carbon and oil residue. When that happens, the gases get trapped, turning your clean oil into thick, dirty sludge that eats away at seals, corrodes parts, and suffocates your engine from the inside. The symptoms are sneaky: rough idling, oil leaks, and even reduced fuel economy. Left unchecked, a $15 part can cause thousands of dollars in engine damage. The worst part, most people never replace it because it's not on the top of the standard maintenance list. Yet changing it out is quick, cheap, and can literally save your engine from an early death. Think of it like this. Your engine is only as healthy as the air it breathes. A fresh PCV valve is like clearing out its lungs, giving it the clean airflow it needs to survive. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear the next secret. It's something almost every driver forgets about. And the damage it causes isn't just expensive, it's irreversible. Secret number 12. The short trip killer. Here's a habit almost nobody thinks about, yet it quietly destroys more engines than you'd ever imagine. Constant short trips. Engines are designed to run at a steady, optimal temperature. That's when the oil thins out properly, moisture burns off, and all the moving parts are protected. But when you only drive a few minutes at a time, like quick runs to the store or school, the engine never warms up fully. The oil stays thick, moisture and fuel vapors build up inside, and sludge slowly starts to form. Over time, that sludge blocks oil passages, wears out bearings, and shortens the life of the entire engine. And here's the kicker. The damage doesn't happen overnight. You won't notice it after a few weeks or even months, but years of constant short trips can take a healthy engine and cut its lifespan in half. That's why you'll see two identical cars, one running strong at 200,000 miles, while the other is dead before 120,000. The simple fix: mix in longer drives every now and then. A 20-30 minute highway run lets the engine reach full temperature, evaporates moisture, and keeps the oil circulating the way it should. Think of it as a workout for your car's heart, keeping it clean, strong, and ready for the long haul. And if you think short trips are bad, the next secret will shock you even more. It's a small maintenance step most people put off until it's too late. And once the damage starts, there's no reversing it. Secret number 11. The low fuel trap. A lot of drivers think running the tank near empty is no big deal. Some even treat the fuel light like a challenge. How many more miles can I squeeze out before filling up? But here's the truth. Running your car on low fuel is one of the most damaging habits you can have. At the bottom of every gas tank sits dirt, debris, and even moisture that collects over time. When your fuel level gets too low, the pump starts sucking that gunk straight into your fuel system. That means clogged injectors, dirty filters, and a struggling engine that has to work twice as hard just to run. But that's not even the worst part. Your fuel pump itself relies on gasoline to stay cool and lubricated. When you drive on near empty, the pump runs dry, overheats, and wears out way faster than it should. Replacing it can easily cost $600 or $1,000, a brutal price for a problem that's completely avoidable. The fix is simple: never let your tank drop below a quarter full. It keeps your fuel system clean, your pump protected, and your engine running smooth. Skipping this habit might feel harmless now, but years later, it's the difference between a healthy engine and an expensive breakdown. And speaking of hidden dangers, the next secret involves something under the hood that almost nobody replaces until it fails. Yet it's the silent killer behind overheating, blown head gaskets, and engines that never make it past 150,000 miles. Secret number 10. The once-a-month ritual. Most people think car care is all about big services, oil changes, tire rotations, inspections. But there's a simple monthly ritual that can save you from surprise breakdowns and extend the life of your engine in ways those big jobs can't. Here's what it is. Once a month, take just 5 minutes to pop the hood and do a quick visual and fluid check. That means looking at your oil level, coolant, brake fluid, and even your belts and hoses. You don't need to be a mechanic, you're just looking for anything low, cracked, or out of place. Why is this so important? Because engines rarely fail without warning. Tiny leaks, small drops in fluid levels, or a frayed belt are always the early signs. Catch them now and they're a $20 fix. Ignore them and they turn into a blown head gasket, a seized engine, or a roadside breakdown that costs thousands. And here's the bonus. Driving your car at least once a month on a longer stretch, even if you don't need to, keeps the battery charged, the fluids moving, and the engine healthy. Cars hate sitting still. This quick ritual keeps everything alive and ready when you actually need it. It's such a small commitment of time, but it's the difference between treating your car like a disposable machine and making it last far longer than anyone expects. Secret number 9. The fluids rule. Engines don't just rely on oil. They're a network of moving parts that all depend on different fluids to stay alive. Coolant, transmission fluid, brake fluid, power steering fluid. And here's the rule. Every single one of them matters. Too many drivers only focus on oil changes while quietly ignoring the rest. The problem? Old coolant loses its ability to fight heat, which can lead to overheating and blown head gaskets. Transmission fluid that's never changed breaks down, turning smooth shifts into grinding gears and eventually a failed transmission. Even neglected brake and steering fluids turn corrosive over time, eating away at seals and systems that cost thousands to replace. The fluids rule is simple. Every fluid in your car has an expiration date. Ignore it, and you're asking for disaster. Follow it, and you give your engine and drivetrain the best chance at surviving far longer than most people think is possible. And here's the kicker. Fluids are cheap, but failures are not. A $50 flush today can prevent a $5,000 repair tomorrow. It's one of the easiest ways to keep your car in fighting shape. Secret number 8. The air filter habit. Engines are just giant air pumps. They need a perfect mix of clean air and fuel to run smoothly. But here's the part most drivers forget. If your air filter is dirty, your engine is literally choking every time you hit the gas. When the filter gets clogged with dust, dirt, and debris, airflow drops. The engine compensates by burning more fuel, running rich, and leaving behind carbon deposits that build up on valves and pistons. That buildup doesn't just steal horsepower, it slowly grinds away at your engine's efficiency and lifespan. A clean air filter, on the other hand, does the opposite. It gives your engine the oxygen it needs to burn fuel cleanly. keeps your oil from getting contaminated, and can even improve your gas mileage. For such a cheap part, often less than $30, it's one of the most powerful defenses against premature engine wear. Think of it like this: you wouldn't run a marathon with a rag stuffed over your mouth. Yet that's exactly what most drivers force their engines to do when they neglect their air filter. This simple habit, done once or twice a year, can be the difference between an engine gasping for life at 120,000 miles or breathing easy well past 500,000. Secret number 7. Belts and hoses check. Here's the truth. Belts and hoses are the silent guardians of your engine. They don't make noise. They don't flash warning lights until the second they fail. And when they do, it's game over. Your serpentine belt powers critical systems like the alternator, water pump, and power steering. One small crack, one weak spot, and it can snap without warning. When that happens, your battery drains, your steering goes stiff, your engine overheats, and you're stranded on the side of the road. Hoses are just as important. They carry coolant and fluids under pressure, and when they burst, your engine can overheat in less than 60 seconds. A blown head gasket or warped cylinder head from overheating can cost thousands. Here's the crazy part: replacing a worn belt or hose often costs less than a tank of gas. But waiting until it fails, that's a repair bill that can rival your car's value. So here's the habit. Once a month, pop the hood and check. Look for cracks, fraying, swelling, or soft spots. If you see any signs of wear, replace it before it fails. This 2-minute inspection can save you thousands and keep your engine running smooth for years. Think of it as insurance you don't have to pay for. Just a little attention, and you'll never get blindsided by a breakdown. Secret number 6. Battery terminals. Engines need power just as much as fuel, and that power starts with your battery. But here's the hidden danger most drivers ignore: corroded or loose battery terminals. When those connections aren't clean and tight, your alternator and starter motor have to work overtime just to keep things running. That extra strain doesn't just kill your battery early, it puts unnecessary stress on your engine and entire electrical system. Last winter, a real estate agent called about her 2020 Honda Accord that refused to start reliably in the cold. The battery itself tested fine, but the terminals were so corroded that power could barely flow. A simple cleaning solved everything and saved her from a $400 diagnostic bill she almost agreed to. Here's the takeaway: check your battery once a month. If you see white or greenish buildup on the terminals, clean it off with a wire brush or a simple baking soda and water mix. Make sure the clamps are snug and don't wiggle. It's a 2-minute habit that can prevent headaches, keep your power flowing strong, and save your engine from unnecessary strain. And while power keeps everything alive, there's another hidden factor most drivers don't realize: your tires. Yes, they can make or break your engine's life. Let's talk about that next. Secret number 5. Tire pressure. When people think about engine life, tires aren't usually the first thing that comes to mind. But here's the hidden truth: low or uneven tire pressure forces your engine to work harder every single mile. Think of pedaling a bicycle with soft tires. You burn more energy, go slower, and wear yourself out. That's exactly what happens to your car. Underinflated tires create more rolling resistance, which means your engine has to burn extra fuel just to keep you moving. A mechanic friend of mine tracked this in his Prius. When his tire pressure dropped just 7 psi, his gas mileage fell by almost 4 miles per gallon. Over a year, that's more than $300 wasted at the pump, and all because of neglected tires. But the cost isn't just fuel. Underinflated tires overheat, and that weakens the sidewalls. At highway speeds, that can trigger a blowout. Not only can that wreck your car, it puts your safety and your engine's life at serious risk. The fix is simple: check your tire pressure at least once a month. Keep them at the manufacturer's recommended PSI, and you'll save fuel, reduce engine strain, and drive safer. But here's the thing: while tires can silently drain power, your car also has another way of warning you that something's wrong. Not through a light on the dashboard, but through the sounds it makes every day. And most drivers ignore it until it's too late. Secret number 4. Listening for noises. Your car actually talks to you, but most drivers drown it out with music, or just ignore it. Strange sounds are your engine's cry for help, and catching them early can be the difference between a quick fix and a total breakdown. Take ticking for example. A taxi driver once came in complaining about a faint ticking noise. Turns out his valve lifters were wearing out. If he'd ignored it, his engine would have seized within weeks. That $400 repair saved him from a $6,000 disaster. Then there's knocking, that sharp metallic rattle when you hit the gas. It usually means your fuel isn't isn't burning properly, which puts brutal stress on pistons and bearings. Left unchecked, it can destroy an engine from the inside out. Here's the smart move. Once a month, turn off the radio, roll the windows down, and just listen. Pay attention as you accelerate, idle, and brake. Compare how your car sounds today versus last month. Any new sound, even small, deserves attention. Your ears are free, but they might just save you thousands. Because if noises are your engine whispering, then leaks are your car's way of screaming for help. Secret number 3. Look under the car. One of the easiest yet most powerful habits you can build is simply looking under your car once in a while. Because fluids are the lifeblood of your engine, and leaks are usually the first red flag before something catastrophic happens. See a dark oil spot on the driveway? That could be a cracked seal or worn gasket. And if you ignore it, your engine could run low on oil, overheat, and lock up completely. A green, pink, or orange puddle? That's coolant. And without it, your engine can warp or blow a head gasket in minutes. Transmission fluid? That's the big one. A slow leak can quietly kill your gearbox, and replacing it can cost more than the car itself. The best part? Spotting leaks is free. Just park in a clean spot, or lay down cardboard overnight. Check in the morning for drips or even faint smells of fuel, coolant, or burning oil. Catching a leak early can save thousands and keep your engine running strong. But leaks aren't the only hidden danger. There's another fluid most drivers forget to check, one that quietly keeps your gears alive. And when ignored, it's one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Secret number 2. Transmission fluid. Most people think oil is the only fluid that matters. But here's the hidden truth. Your transmission fluid is just as vital, and ignoring it can silently destroy your engine. Transmission fluid does 3 things. It lubricates, it cools, and it makes sure every shift is smooth. When it runs low or gets old and burnt, your gears start grinding, your shifts turn rough, and your engine works harder just to keep you moving. Heat builds up fast, and heat is the #1 killer of transmissions. I know a guy with a Honda Pilot who learned this the hard way. He spent $600 replacing a timing belt, thinking that would solve his car's issues. But the real problem was burnt transmission fluid that cost just $150 to change. The mistake? It snowballed into a full transmission rebuild. Here's the smart habit. If your car has a dipstick for transmission fluid, check it once a month. Just like oil, warm up the engine, keep it running, pull the dipstick, and check both the level and the color. Bright red or pink means healthy. Dark brown or burnt smell? That's a warning sign. Maintaining this one fluid can add years to your engine and save you from repair bills that cost more than the car itself. And here's the exciting part. Once you've checked your fluids, there's one final test you can do right in your driveway. A simple check that reveals problems before they explode into disasters. Secret number 1. Idle and rev test. Engines are like people. You can tell a lot about their health just by how they breathe and move. That's why a simple idle and rev test, done once a month in your driveway, is one of the smartest habits you can build. Here's how. With your car in park and the parking brake engaged, start the engine and let it idle for a minute. Listen closely. A healthy engine hums smoothly. No sputtering, no uneven shaking. If it stalls, idles rough, or sounds off, that's your first red flag. Next, gently rev the engine. Don't floor it. Just bring the RPMs up smoothly. Pay attention to how it responds. Any hesitation, smoke, or odd smells are signs something deeper may be wrong. Dirty injectors, vacuum leaks, or ignition issues waiting to explode. Technicians say that more than 80% of drivability issues can be spotted early with this simple test. And the best part? It takes less than 5 minutes and costs nothing. So don't ignore your engine's checkup. A smooth idle and steady rev means it's healthy, but if it feels off, fixing it early will save you thousands. But before we wrap up, there's one final bonus tip. A myth-busting truth about warming up your engine that even seasoned drivers still get wrong. Bonus tip: smart warm-up. You've probably seen people start their cars on a cold morning and let them idle for 10, maybe even 15 minutes, thinking they're protecting the engine. But here's the myth. Long idling doesn't help modern cars at all. That advice comes from the carburetor era, and modern fuel-injected engines don't need it. In fact, letting your car idle wastes fuel, increases wear, and actually harms your engine. According to the EPA, excessive idling wastes over 3 billion gallons of fuel every year in the US alone. That's billions of dollars going up in smoke, and engines wearing out faster than they should. So what's the right way to warm up? Simple. Start the engine. Give it about 30 seconds so the oil can circulate, and then just drive gently. Keep the RPMs low until the temperature gauge reaches normal. That's how your engine was designed to warm up, under light load, not while sitting still. Of course, if it's below freezing, an extra minute or two won't hurt. But idling for long stretches? That's just draining your wallet and your engine's life. And that wraps up our list of engine-saving secrets. Follow these habits, and your car won't just survive. It could become one of those rare legends that outlives everything else on the road. road, keeping your engine alive. Engines rarely die suddenly. It's neglect that kills them. Tiny habits ignored month after month slowly wear them down until one day they give out completely. But the good news, every one of these secrets is simple, cheap, and 100% in your control. Follow them and your engine won't just last, it'll thrive. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these habits have you been skipping? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments below. Your story might even help another driver avoid a costly mistake. And if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button so you never miss more car-saving tips. You can also check out the next video on screen right now for even more ways to keep your ride running forever.